Hi, my name is Mikki Brammer. I am an Australian design journalist and I'm based in New York City. I write for publications like Dwell, Surface, Architectural Digest, and Metropolis. And I'm super interested in all things design, particularly industrial design.
My name is Katerina Kopytina. I'm an industrial designer. For the past 10 years, I've been working as an independent designer, industrial designer, and also I've been a part of Fuse Project, an industrial design studio where I've been a senior industrial designer. And my work has been published in such magazines as Fast Company, Architectural Digest, and the zine and Moco Loco. I'm also interested in astrophysics and everything that's connected to space and stars and adventures. And I'm happy to be part of this jury.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gillian. I'm the managing director of Ueno. We're a creative digital agency based in the US. I came in through digital from hardware through IoT. So I have a hardware background as a hardware developer, now really focused on digital products, but bridge those two worlds. Thank you so much for the amazing entries. We had a blast going through them. The way that we started as a team was to really look at this category and set up some design criteria. How are we going to judge this process and these submissions? So the first one was environmental impact. There's a lot of pressure to make new objects, especially if you're a publicly traded company, keep things evolving. But in this moment, we really need to consider, does a new object solve this problem? Does the audience that you're targeting have something in their life that could already solve this? And then how much have you thought about sustainability holistically, either through your packaging, your product, your storytelling, your manufacturability? How much have you thought about sustainability in the process? So that was the first one. The second one is human impact. So is this going to change lives? Is this an important product? The third one is pretty related to that, but it's much more of the moment. So we're in a pandemic. We reviewed these, really during the height of the pandemic, and we're thinking about how is the world shifting in terms of work, in terms of human connection as we go forward. And I think for us, it was really important to contextualize the products for today that are relevant to today's moment. The fourth one is the category, tools and work. Does it fit? Where are the lines of that category? And then finally, probably one of the most important as a design award, does this design inspire? Is it going to really level up what people are doing in the world from a design point of view? This is our judging criteria that we came up with.
And we're starting with the student category. The first one that we're going to talk about. So Logi Ultra, which is a collaboration with Logitech. And what we find really interesting about the submission is that it looks like it's the next level of a keyboard. Like, what does a keyboard do? Like, it's extending our idea of how can we add like augmented reality into our life, and how can we merge this experience, like the physical experience, with the digital experience. And it looks like it's creating like the new like UX for the users, and how do we actually collaborate when we work remotely. And it is a really inspiring product, and doesn't look like anything else. And what we also think is really good is like the execution. Like, it's very well done, and it is inspiring, and we think it's a really interesting product. That's why we think that the submission is really worth to be notable.
The next one's also from the same school, also a collaboration with Logitech, so the Umea Institute of Design. The audience here for this product is remote workers. So how relevant is that today? The design challenge was, how do we make remote work more social, more human, less isolating? I really love this. I think it's one of the most important challenges that we're facing today. I sometimes feel like we're in the age of loneliness and people are really wanting to connect. I congratulate this team, and we wanted to make it a notable project because the solution here is really interesting because it plays on the emotional. So if all your colleagues had this object on their desk, what would appear is their movements, so you can feel more social. So each color there representing one of your colleagues. So the reason it's not a winner is we felt it was a little bit tech forward, a little bit sort of a fixed object on your desk. How much do we need another object? But conceptually, I think this idea is extremely strong.
Okay, so the next notable we have is the blood vessel camera. It's from the National Taipei University of Education. We really like this one because it addresses something that will occur in pretty much everybody's life at some stage or another, and that's having your blood taken. And for some people, that can be quite a terrifying or at least uncomfortable experience. I know I always turn away if someone's taking my blood because I don't like to watch, and it can easily go wrong. It can result in bleeding, excess bleeding, bruising, pain. And so understandably, there is a lot of fear around that process. And it's especially hard when taking blood from children and the elderly, which is the audience for this particular product. So we really like that it addresses not an everyday need, but one that does come up a lot and takes into consideration a lot of different aspects of that. There's the antibacterial properties, glass, which is sustainability-wise is a smart choice, and the wireless charging coil, like all of these, it's really thought through. It has the environment in mind, but also right now with COVID, a lot of people, maybe all of us, are going to be getting antibody tests at one stage or another, which means there's a lot of blood being taken. And I think we thought this one was really relevant for the time, making it a notable choice. So well done.
Great. And our runner-up is Flow Motion 2, which is an improvement of the previous version of Flow Motion. And what's really impressive here is the execution and attention to the details and how well everything is done, and the craft of design, which is like a massive and incredibly important part of our job as industrial designers. The process, the way it's shown, like the models, and also the CMF exploration, it looks like a really strong product, especially like for student work. Definitely like a very strong case. We loved it.
And so this is our winner. It's the Easy Cargo, and again, it's from the National Taipei University of Education. And again, this is, a relatively simple product for an everyday need, but that's what we liked about it. It really solves a problem, or several problems actually. So when transferring cargo, loading things into trucks and things like that, there's not only the risk of injury with really heavy objects, but also it can be quite inefficient. There can be kind of traffic jams when you're moving a lot of things at once, and this really helps address that. We also like the fact that, often when things have several proposed use cases, 3 in 1, it can be a bit gimmicky, but in this case, they all really make sense. You can be used to transport things on stairs. It can be converted into a flatbed to transfer really heavy objects, and it can also help propel heavy objects up into a truck on the incline, and we thought that was really smart. But also the fact that it addresses workplace injuries or helps reduce them. There's a lot of reasons why this is very relevant today, and we think we could really see it being used out in the world. So congratulations to this team. We thought this was a really great idea with a lot of great applications. Okay, so now we're on to the professional notables and winners. Our first notable is the Ascender guitar. This one in particular I loved as someone who plays a guitar and has traveled with a guitar, and which is really cumbersome. They're really heavy. If it's a really nice guitar, you don't want to put it in the cargo hold, but it also doesn't fit in the overhead locker. You can't put it under the seat. So much trouble, and then there's having it on a train, so this really appeals to that. I know it's something a lot of guitarists deal with. This is great. I think it weighs less than 7.5 pounds. It can be folded, so you can actually put it in its case and put it under the seat in front of you on the plane, which is great, or in the overhead. You can easily restring and retune it. It just has that one lever that kind of releases it to be able to fold it. So it's very simple to use. The travel guitar is something that a lot of people have tried and not done very well at. So this is a really good solution in relation to those. We weren't quite sold on the overall aesthetic design of it, which is why we think it's notable. But we think design-wise, it could be improved a little bit visually as a guitar, but we really commend the effort and the thought that's gone into it. So well done.
The next one is from Avid, who's really well known. It's their S1 console that just came out. So the audience here is audio engineers, sound engineers, very specific needs and use case in this world. I think you have to be quite deep and know this world really well. What we understand is that it's a product evolution. So they had something previously, but they really listened to audience or their customer feedback in market. So for this new product, they made some improvements based on customer requests. And then on the company side, they also made it more streamlined for manufacturability. So I think it's really interesting here. It's a beautiful product. I love it because it gives you this tactile feedback for your software. So it kind of bridges that analog and digital really nicely. And then from a design awards perspective, I think it's really important that product lines, there's a level of consistency on the experience and on the design language. So we see the effort here to bring the design language in line with the rest of their products.
And so the runner-up is the Ultimate for Skelix, which is an exoskeleton. And what we find really interesting here is that it's much lighter than the other versions, and which is really important for this category that requires a lot of R&D, and it sounds like a great improvement for this for an exoskeleton.
And our second runner-up is the Benchtop Pro. The audience here is your home pro or your mechanic or your SMB, small to medium-sized business. Love this product because it really brings a sustainable solution to an everyday task that this audience is doing in their shop already, but they're probably using some pretty toxic heavy-duty solvents that can't go down the drain. So when you're cleaning parts, you don't always need that level of solvent. This doesn't replace that. Sometimes you absolutely need a hardcore solution. But this gives an opportunity to have a contained system, sustainable, and that you can reuse the solution continuously. Packs down pretty small. Overall, I think it's a great product. We weren't totally sold on the industrial design. I'm not sure if it didn't make the winner because of that. I think there's some opportunity there to improve, but otherwise, from an environmental impact point of view, huge kudos to them, to Benchtop Pro for this solution.
All right, and so the winner is the Peak Tripod, which is the first tripod for this company, and we find it really amazing. The fact that it's much smaller than like other tripods, and which means that it requires less material for the production. It saves a bunch of space in your bag while you're traveling. That's when you need it in most cases. And the execution is amazing, and all the details are thought out. And what's also important is the feedback from the users, which is great and super positive. And this is great work, a great improvement on the existing category, which is already like really well established, which normally makes it really hard to make it like better, significantly better. And we think it's a great product. Congratulations.
Thank you so much to Core77 for giving us the opportunity to judge the tool and work section. And thank you to all the amazing students and professionals who submitted. There were a lot of great entries. This is obviously just the down selection. And congrats to the winners. So round of applause for the winners.
Woo!